Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of TA Tech Unboxed. The podcast is chatting to the people behind the tools that we use in the TA and HR communities every day. If you are listening to this show, don't forget to head over to to YouTube, where you'll be able to watch a demo of our current guests and every other guest we've had on, and a few other sneaky ones people we're waiting for. I am Chris Haslam, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Darren Bush. Mr. Darren Bush, how are you?
Well, beyond excitement, Chris. It's going to be another. It's going to be another big one.
But I mean, I love it. It comes with the energy every week, without fail.
Yeah, I mean, I think this week's going to be very entertaining, indeed.
I think also we've got high energy.
We
guests,
do, yeah.
And they're wonderful. So, but before we jump into that, have you been well? Is everything good? You fighting fit?
I'm good.
Are you ready?
Yeah, all going well. Everything's in terms of the TA world. I see the market. For me, the market doesn't seem to be picking up that much.
Doesn't.
No, I think it's still flat. I say it's still flat.
What does that look like to you? So internal hiring at Ericsson doesn't seem.
I take it from the data that I might see from Indeed or LinkedIn stuff as well. I say it's, I mean, there's this hiring going on, but we're not seeing I'm not seeing growth spurts.
I'm definitely seeing or feeling rumblings. It's a little bit early.
Is it? It's May.
3rd, 4th week. Yeah, but budgets released. Remember, we trickle down economy a little bit. We need spending, hiring, sales to be thundering for us to then feel the need to hire. Yeah. If they're not, we're not going to. And typically for us, if we look at our P&L data, we've always seen back end of year drop off because of Christmas, but also new deals early in the year. And then before sort of late May, early June, we've seen everything pick up and get crazy. And I think it's always because attrition, summer, people want to move jobs, right? I think
bonuses have happened already. And they want to go. They're thinking about moving.
Yeah, bonus. But everyone's locked in their bonuses. Yeah. Budgets have been released. Everyone's spending money again. You've got to wait for that stuff to happen. Everyone's getting holidays booked in. So TA workload is getting heavier. I was literally speaking to someone about this earlier on. TA workload starting to get heavier. So for me in particular, I need, of course, capacity in TA to be capping out regularly, and that to be slowing hiring. So, my gut is we're a bit early, but I'm not 100% convinced yet after the last 2 years. So anyway, should we jump to our guests? Darren, who do we have on today's show?
So today, Chris, we've got two powerhouses in there on the podcast from Adway. We have Sara and Victor. Welcome to the show, Sara and Victor.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So if you want to start with a bit of intro, obviously when we have a couple of guests on, it'd be good to sort of find out about your roles and a little about what you do and how you got there.
Sure. I can start.
Go for it.
So I'm currently the CMO of Adway, and I was sourced into Adway by Adway. So we have a tool, of course, for automated recruitment marketing, and I got snagged into the process of getting these cool ads into my feed. I was currently in sales. I worked in a company who did telemarketing and all things. We called it omni-channel sales support back then. This was I wouldn't say 10 years, but 7 years ago. And we did everything to build the most optimal customer journey. So online for anything, event, telemarketing, social selling, LinkedIn, all these strategies, but very manually. And I got really attracted by the ads, the storytelling, the experience promoted to me. And then coming into TA and getting interviewed by Victor, I saw the similarities of how to design this online customer, well, in this case then candidate experience. So that's how I got into TA and Adway 5 years ago. Now 5.5.
Yeah. Time flies.
Yeah, it does.
Nice one. Yeah, so my name is Victor. I'm one of the co-founders behind Adway. So I've been in the industry since 18, 19 years back now. So I started out early in the beginning of my 20s. I'm almost at 40 now. Fortunately or unfortunately.
I say fortunately, Victor, I think.
Fortunately.
Fortunately. Okay, fortunately. So I started out as a recruiter, went into building a recruitment company, which then pivoted into a SaaS business. So you can simplest way to frame that one is a competitor to Monster. So we built CV databases, and then we resold CV databases to recruitment houses. So we became really good at buying ads online. So we're professionals buying Google AdWords. We started experimenting with social media, even though it wasn't that big back then. And then, of course, mastered all the job boards and did all of the programmatic buying and all of that. And then we resold the CV database with licenses and that kind of stuff. Ended up with selling that company to a big recruitment house in Norway. So I went in, worked with them for a year, helped them to procure different HR tech and work with that one. Figure out I wanted to create a new company, create a company that built career pages, because I thought that the industry didn't build that good career pages, and was a little bit forced into build an ATS system behind the scenes because it was really challenging just selling career pages without having an ATS system. So I basically built that one, which went straight up as a competitor to Teamtailor in Sweden. And when Teamtailor got a lot of funding, I got an offer on the table from another recruitment house and sold that business as well already after 2 years. Did some HR consultancy. It's a long story now, but you asked the background. So
It's a good story, though, to be honest.
Yeah. So
much ready.
I will tie it into Adway now. So when I did a HR consultancy, I did it for some big enterprises. And what we saw then in the teams, that social media started to become more and more important as a sourcing path, and job boards was already being challenged a little bit. So then we thought, let's buy a system that could connect social media with the ATS system. So every time you post a job ad, it will be automatically posted on social media. So we tried to buy that one for some big enterprises, but we only found system for e-commerce, travel industry, real estate that we had to modify, right? So then we thought, let's build something that could solve this particular problem, because we thought, and this is now 6 years ago, that social media will become more and more important as we go. So that was the embryo of Adway in the beginning. Very simple. Like you build a fetcher, you fetch all the ads from the ATS system or all the jobs from the ATS system and push it on social media. That's simple. But it wasn't that simple to build it in practice. So
how many gray hairs?
Yeah.
Simple but not simple. Taking on a powerhouse as your first. I don't know if it was your first business there, but coming from TA, take on Monster,
Yeah.
which is a monster in itself. It's super impressive. So do you want to tell us? I know you covered a lot there, but like, is there anything that might be missing in the story up to Adway that you want to tell us about Adway?
And leading up to the story, yeah, maybe the other co-founder, Richard, is also important. So it's another entrepreneur that sold his businesses at the same time as I sold my businesses, and his background is from automation within finance. So like broking loans online, building casinos, like really leveraging all the traffic online, buying ads, and then like how could we convert them into really good customers online at high scale. He did it for printing facilities as well. So that kind of automation expertise.
Nice.
Did you know him before you started up?
Yeah, I did. So we always said, like for many years, that at some point we wanted to build something together, because I have the experience with HR and sales, and basically I can't code and build the tech behind the scenes. I need a brilliant mind doing that one. So that's his role. So I promise stuff, and then he needs to build it.
Okay. You mentioned a little bit about Adway. Obviously, you're talking a little about it as well. Could you explain again to anyone who's obviously coming new to this exactly? What is Adway? What do you offer? I always say from start to finish. What is it from the beginning to end?
Yeah, so the simplest way to pitch it is that every time you post a new vacant position in your ATS system, we will fetch it, and then we will create the design, we'll create the ad for all social media placements. We'll create it specifically for Facebook newsfeed, another ad for Instagram stories. It could be both motion and images. So we'll do that one at scale. So if you're a recruiter, you used to work within your ATS system, and you don't need to log in or anything. You just publish your position in the ATS system. We'll fetch it. We will make sure we do all the creatives online, and then you will get the creatives back as the recruiter. You can control that everything is perfect, or you can edit it. And then we also do the programmatic buying, so we will always find the right individual for the right ad.
Okay.
So basically, we're trying to leverage what's on social media. And so we try to do this one to be able to have a new way of attracting talents. So I think job boards are great, but you also need to know when to work with a job board, because you need at some point you need to be present for all the active job seekers out there. So you can use the job board, so you can organically feed it into LinkedIn or like make it visible at least on Google and that kind of stuff. But if you really want to target the passive audience, like the really hard to get audience, you need to leverage social media now. If you're not leveraging social media, you're not going after really hard to get talents. So
I hear you. So just to clarify, two things. One is you're getting the job, you're doing the creative part, like the actual creating the content, the look and feel.
Yep.
That goes out, so that's outsourced already. So the recruiter has to worry about that. And then the second then is the programmatic side. So obviously just distributing the job out to the relevant job boards or social media sites. We might have used programmatic advertising. We mentioned it maybe prior in a couple of podcasts. Can you explain to those who may be new to that term or understand about the distribution model? Can you explain that into sort of simple terms?
Yeah, sure. So basically, we help the recruiters to decide, or we do the decision on our side, what channel to be published on, and when to be publishing, and how to be publishing. And then we do the programmatic buying in terms of like bidding on CPC and CPM and doing all of this advanced stuff. And then we can stop and start the bidding depending on how many candidates that's being published into the ATS system. So I will give you an example. Let's say you publish an ad in your ATS system, and after 3 days, you're not getting good candidates from all the free channels and the career page and all of that. That might trigger then an advertisement on social media. Then you want to start spending some money on social media until you're getting like 5, 10, 20 qualified candidates. Then you want to stop. So all of this you could programmatically decide. So we can set up rules, or you can let the AI decide. So
so knowing, let's say 20 candidates is what we've received from the program we've been with you on. How does the system know that's 20 good ones?
Yeah, so then we leverage the different stages in the ATS system, or we can leverage the screening questions.
Nice. And are you using any AI inside that element?
Not inside that element. It's kind of like black and white in terms of
when
you've
got the trigger.
But what we do is that we use AI in terms of doing the screening criteria. So if you don't have screening questions, or you're gonna kick me now because I'm gonna call it knockout questions. I'm not allowed to call it that. But
no one from compliance is on the call.
Yeah. I'm always like getting smacked on my fingers with using wrong words here. But you can use this screening questions, which is then being built by AI based on the job description. So that kind of functionality we have. So if you don't have any screening questions in your ATS system when you publish your job requisition, we can automatically create the screening questions and push it on social media. And then we will also optimize the buying towards the qualified candidates. So we can optimize it for the ones that are like
very cool.
the screening. Yeah.
The dorky side of me now is going, oh my God, that's so cool. Love that. Love that. Fascinating. Like I assume a fascinating world. We got access to lots of awesome data on how to, and then what looks great as well. Like go on.
No,
Victor.
if you want to have another AI example, I can give you another AI example. So we try to use as much AI as we possibly can. We have a sister company which is just AI consultants, building AI for other companies as well. But what we figured that the industry really needed is to be able to benchmark their performance to others. And social media is actually really good at benchmarking, because social media is present in almost every country, with the exception of China and North Korea, maybe. But except that, you can then benchmark social media in a really good way. Job boards may have a lot of local variations, right? Local job boards, and will be hard to benchmark, but social media you can benchmark. The problem when benchmarking is that job categories is very unique. So it's like there's no standard for job categories. So what we have done, there is a standard actually, but no one is following the standard.
Titles as well.
Yeah, exactly. So what we've done with AI is that when we fetched a feed, it's a little bit technical now, but when we fetch the feed from an API or XML or JSON or web scraping or whatever, we will then ask the AI to categorize the job categories into the same benchmarks.
Okay, nice.
So if you give you an example, so if you have a company called your positions IT, we might consider that one going into tech job category, or you may call it something else. So in that way, we can then give back really good benchmark details to all of our customers. So they could basically go in and say like, I want to see in Berlin, how do our ads within tech performs for other similar enterprises or rec and staff companies in Berlin for tech hires. And you will get it plotted out on a trend line. So you can see if you're above or below the trend line on the performance. And if you're above, it will probably become cheaper for you to advertise. If you are below, you need to spend more money to get the same kind of candidates. So that's something the industry, or at least our customers, been screaming for, having this kind of like possibility to benchmark in between companies.
And get the predictions on where to spend the budget, what channels to optimize, how to build the storytelling.
Lots going on, and super impressive. You mentioned, just because I'm a nerd I'm obsessed with the creative stuff that comes out of our business.
Yeah.
How do you said Darren mentioned that was outsourced? You guys mentioned it top of core. Is it? How do you create creative for roles? What do they look like?
Yeah,
it's a good question.
That's the good part.
Do you want to go?
We can go together, but ultimately, we know that like the first. Well, historically, there was a lot of spray and pray, right? We could fetch from any ATS and we could get something out of display ads. Today, the users of social media have taught us that they're on each platform for an experience. So everyone coming on to Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok are coming on to get an experience. And if we don't mimic that experience in what we do, no one would ever apply. So what we take is this long Bible of information, right? And we convert that into a format that gets that attention, that talks to that audience, and that gives them the need, the reason to click and apply for the position. So for instance, as you said, format is really important, but multiple channels, it is really what makes the sauce. I think the latest data is if we combine LinkedIn, Snapchat, Meta and TikTok, we get a 491% higher conversion rates of relevant candidates. And that goes for certain roles naturally, because we look into the AI, what it tells us. So we don't have to guess what channels to fetch the latest JSON developers or whatever. But back to the format, it's all about making sure we incorporate programmatic employer branding in between all the job ads. So there's actually a story being told about your next lifestyle, your new lifestyle.
Yeah. So I can explain a little bit more from a technical perspective.
Do so.
when Sara pitched the
Passionate.
the brand perspective.
Yeah.
So in practice, when we
It's
set up,
important to butt in there. Sorry, they are both super important though, right? It's like
Right.
I want it to rep the brand visually, but I also want it to be super easy.
But it is created technically, so yeah.
Yeah.
Point.
So I'm gonna explain it, and I'm gonna ask you to put the alarm.
Oh yeah,
off.
we have an alarm. Yeah.
So otherwise the alarm is gonna go off in the office. So technically, what we do is that we, on the onboarding phase of a customer, we take the corporate ID and we take the employer value proposition, and then we have what Sara then, I would say, is the blueprint. So we know exactly how to create ads on social media, which format, like how should the story look like, how should the LinkedIn look like. So we combine all of this into templates. So a template could be for positions in Germany. I don't know why I'm getting this Germany approach. Maybe it's
the German vibe
from Chris.
Yeah, the German vibe.
Yeah, exactly. They want to have the brand control. That's why. Well, then the discipline and brand control. So what we do then is create a template for tech position in Germany. So then we will take the template based on the corporate ID and the EVP and the blueprint, and we'll create maybe 10 or 20 different imagery and videos for tech position. And then you will have copywriting version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can enable AI to write all of these hooks and CTAs and all of that. So when a recruiter publishes their tech position, we will randomize and optimize then the picture and then push the CTA on top and having some motion effects and all of that we know is converting. And we will always push it through the end client's brand as well. So Adway is only the engine behind it. So it will be perceived as the company having very specific ad within tech in Berlin. When they click, they will get the entire experience.
And I assume you're using your experience to say we know these templates convert with this. Yeah. So are you A/B test as well?
Yeah.
This is mad impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna find a hole. Hang on, bear with me.
Go for it.
Do you know what's up for me?
Yeah, so in terms of the multi-channel strategy you mentioned, do you find that within TA and the recruitment industry, we seem to be behind most other industries regarding advertising? Because I expect this market to be enormous, and even potentially billions. But when you look at all the companies out there, they're not really advocating or not utilizing this strategy. What's the reason for that? What are you seeing?
The tech has been the blocker for a long time. Like it's been isolated. LinkedIn has been great, right? But and LinkedIn has done it brilliant in terms of like keeping everyone within the LinkedIn ecosystem. So if you don't bring the candidates outside the LinkedIn ecosystem,
they won't.
Exactly. You can't really leverage other omni-channels. And because LinkedIn has been so important for so many years now, I think the next evolution is still to use LinkedIn because it's great. But then if you can combine that one with the effort of and the presence of the other social media channels and also job boards, everything needs to go into one ecosystem. So regardless of what the first entry point is as the candidate could come in from a job board, they could come in from a recommendation, they could come in from an email from a recruiter. That should trigger a candidate journey. And candidate journey should not only be spammed by job posts over and over again. So if you build it smart, you should also then nurture in some nice employer branding content. So when you have a really nice Glassdoor reviews, that's something you bring up. If you win a prize on some external validation, you bring that one up. If you have this tech recruiter or a tech organization in Berlin, right, you take the testimonials, the video. So the experience from a candidate is that you press these email from the recruiter and bam, 3 days later, you see something nice on Instagram story. And then you see something on YouTube. When you scroll around, you go home and suddenly you sit on Snapchat or TikTok or whatever, and you're getting nurtured over and over again. And then suddenly you see a position on a Monday when your manager didn't do a good job and you're like a little bit angry, like I'm going to apply for this position. So that's how like omnichannel social media works. It's the same like e-commerce, right? You buy a TV screen, you will probably, if you're smart, you press like the purchase button, you put it in your basket, and then you close down the browser and you wait 2 days and you get a 20% discount and you check it out, right?
Yeah.
So the e-commerce and travel industry, even real estate, have done this one for years. I don't know why. HR really has been behind. Maybe you have a good answer to it. What's your take on it?
I'd say, I mean, Chris is a believer. I'm a believer as well. I think it's the the reliance on LinkedIn a little bit. If I'm honest, I think there's this over reliance on we just post on LinkedIn and then we can get candidates. But the reality is we know that's not always the case, and you need to reach candidates, like you just said, across more different channels as well. And also, if you're trying to bring brand awareness, you're not going to do that on LinkedIn. You need to go that. You need to go elsewhere and do that and reach them into other places as well. So I think it's been it's hard to convince people about the going on social media advertising, but I believe it's the right. And hopefully, you're starting to see more clients kind of following that direction.
Yeah.
I'm quite controversial on this. I think.
Here you go.
With the view, I think I don't think there are enough resources from companies to understand it, so we don't get it. And I also don't think there are TA leaders capable of adopting it or enough, particularly as the market is expanded. Like Darren's point, it's like we're definitely new to it. We do programmatic ourselves for our own sales,
right? In marketing,
like we're not hiring enough people to need it for recruiting, but there's definitely a demand in it. And you see these talent teams just balloon in size, hundreds and hundreds of people with no investment going to anywhere else but people, because it's like for me it reminds me of the bubble that's just burst with this, the predictable revenue model with SDRs and AEs, and that not being like now the preferred way to build your sales team, right? Or the
I love
only
that book,
way.
by the way. It was a great when it came to the market around how to build Salesforce, and the predictable revenue book. Love that one.
What the book is? The book was predictable revenue.
Yeah.
I mean, I built a team. I built a team for myself to try and replicate it, because it does kind of make sense, right? But I think like in recruiting, we often think everyone works for everyone else. Number one.
Yeah.
That's why me and Darren started the podcast, right, Darren? I mean, we never actually did episode 1, dude. We need to do that at some point, where we were going to talk about why we were bothering to start this podcast in the first place, because I work with startups and often they've got nothing. And an investment in Adway quite often is significant, and maybe they're not hiring that much, or maybe it's they're not the right fit for you guys. They are for maybe Darren's business at Ericsson. For me, what's really challenging is, as a TA leader, it's hard for us to find what's for us. It's really difficult to find what's for us and to learn. So when we talk about, Darren, you mentioned Chris is into this, like I'm in awe because you're not for me, even though I'd love you to be, because it sounds amazing. But you're not for my types of clients because we're not doing enough hiring at them. But what we do believe in is like weaponizing the same things you're talking about. Like I see recruiters today with closed network LinkedIn accounts. What are you doing? I see no posts at all on their LinkedIn feeds at all. It doesn't matter if the image is high quality and matches the brand. Like, post something. At least tell the world what you're hiring for. Because word of mouth and marketing, it takes time to build. So too fascinating. Sorry, I butted in on your point, your Darren's point.
And I also sat at the other side many times. I've sitting negotiated LinkedIn deals as well, right? And we have people from LinkedIn at Adway, we have people from Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Bing, all of that inside, because we thought like, let's bring them inside and see the secret tips and tricks in the market, how to price it and how to commercialize it and all of that. So I know how expensive LinkedIn could be as well. And I think a challenge in the industry is that a lot of decision makers within HR are biased. So because they themselves spend so much time on LinkedIn, they think they will get the best result on LinkedIn. And the targeting still on LinkedIn is great to do. You can target by interest, you can target by company, you can do all of this advanced targeting, which is now forbidden on Facebook and Instagram and that kind of channels. So then you think like, but I spend my time on LinkedIn, and I can do all of this advanced targeting on LinkedIn. So it must be the case that I need to spend my money on LinkedIn. The problem is then when you say like, oh yeah, but you can recruit on Facebook. Yeah, but I don't have Facebook. I don't use it myself. Like, yeah, but, and then we take it one more step and we say like, yeah, but Snapchat.
Yeah, or TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know. My kids maybe using
Also, it doesn't matter. You're not a software engineer, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what you use. It matters what they use. Do you know your persona? Have you written a persona document? You haven't, right? That's why it was typically what happens is you then go, okay, cool. The programmatic's not for us. We're not ready yet.
So in almost all conversations we have when we get a new customer, that's something we need to convince not only HR and marketing that they need to spend in other social media channels, but then also like the hiring managers and find the budgets, because it's also expensive to buy media on social, in terms of like, if you compare it to job boards is quite cheap. We get huge amount of applicants, but not sure if you're getting that amount hires you need, or the best hires on the market. But if you're gonna advertise on social media, it could be quite expensive. So then you need to think around like, what's the business case here?
Interesting.
What happens if I get a really high performing individual coming in? What if I'm reaching this individual that are winning all the awards in the company, who's have no problems in the company, but are a little bit like they need to advance in their career, but they don't have the CV prepared. They don't go actively out and seek opportunities because they're happy where they are. You can reach them, you can convince them to join your company. How much is that worth? And I think all hiring managers like agree, like that's the candidate I want.
Yeah. Once they get through the visual bias, right? The barrier of seeing the profile and going, no, I wouldn't message that person. It's like, well, hang on, we don't know anything about him yet, or her. We don't know anything about them at all at the minute. Why don't we at least get them in the funnel and then learn more about them? I was having a conversation with someone the other day I know I'm talking about kind of post conversion here, but like we're often too quick to judge individuals, and we don't market at them for any amount of time. But there isn't really a HubSpot for recruiting.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah, there isn't. I mean, I'm a business, so HubSpot's massive for us. We literally bolted everything onto HubSpot, and we use it to deploy our ads. We use it to track our deals, which basically, Darren, if you haven't used it,
use it as well, because I downloaded all of your guys, and I think I got a HubSpot.
Hey.
We love it and hate it. So.
Could be more.
We don't. I think a lot of recruitment teams see the ATS as this particular tool, don't they? But it's often I don't think it's quite fit for purpose. Personally, I sort of see the ATS as like SalesLoft to Salesforce. They're like enablement tools, aren't they?
So maybe I can give you a little bit more insight on what we have built, because we always try to use the similarity with HubSpot. So I'm glad you're bringing that one up. But
you're welcome. It wasn't planned.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll send a PayPal something to you later on. The problem when you do advertisements in general, like regardless of the industry, is the conversion rate, right? HubSpot has sold this one because they have the landing pages. You can create the CMS system. You can connect like instant forms on Facebook. It's like the native way to apply or something, with like pre-filled on the phone directly. They've sold that one. You fetch it into your system. You build all the nurturing SMS and WhatsApp and email and all of that. So we just replicated that one in Adway. So for every single position that the recruiter published in the ATS system, we also instantly create a landing page.
Nice. Okay.
That landing page is also optimized with all the cookies, all the pixels, is optimized on the conversion objectives.
Look at Chris.
Oh, my mind's going. Oh my God.
It's also optimized on the, so if you're a Workday client, which is like 20% of our client base, it's Workday.
And they're growing it probably.
25. It's a great system, but it's not great at converting. So then we also have a bridge solution in that landing page. You have the quick apply functionality.
So you can skip, in theory, you apply, but it goes straight into Workday through the bridge.
Yeah. So when you push in your email address and phone from the phone, like directly, like autofill, we will create an account on Workday behind the scenes, generate the password, generate everything that's a problem in the market out of the box. Because the reasons that we didn't want to build it from the beginning, but what we saw was that we sent like 1 million clicks from Facebook, Workday landing page, and then the customer said, "Yeah, but we're not getting the applicants." Like, no, okay.
I mean, because we handed it to you, and you screwed it up, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Then they blame us for doing bad advertisement, and then we said, like, "Yeah, but come on, like the problem is your landing page."
Yeah.
And so then we figured, let's build this bridge solution. So out of the box, you will get the landing page, you will get the easy apply functionality, and you will also get the AI screening questions if you toggle that one off.
And the experience in hand for the candidate is just as buying a pair of sneakers online, literally, and doing the guest checkout, or if you want to submit more information, you can do that. But it's gamified, it's 1 minute, it's super sleek, it's designed as you're in a TikTok ad.
And if they don't complete, I'm going to make let me guess, because if I get
please guess.
If I get this right, then I assume I have the ability to then market at them to try and get them to convert, which is a hidden talent pool, I think. Like I always talk about form non-completes, or the what's it called? It's the checkout. Whatever it is in e-commerce, not my world, of course, but like that's it. Yeah, those that don't complete the form and check out, and then of course I'm seeing trainers everywhere where I'm walking around like Minority Report. But yeah, we often don't we have no idea who those people are, or we have no way of understanding what to do with them once we have them. Sorry, so what were you going to say?
No, we do.
yeah. That's the beauty. I mean, wonderful.
And usually it's actually like this. So the easiest candidates to convert is usually not the candidates you want.
Yeah, more the active candidates rather, to always looking, applying to like 100 roles.
You do get.
It could be. It's not like a black and white. It could be.
Yeah.
It could be the best candidates. Less motivated candidates that really want to work for you.
Yeah.
You've made the employer branding. You've been at the.
It's a very small percentage, isn't it? Of like
BCG, all of this, like of course Spotify, all of this, like really, really good brands. They will get really good candidates. But otherwise, if you're an unknown brand or you haven't nailed your EVP, you need to nurture and you need to give a little bit of time to the candidates. If you build a candidate journey, both is like SMS and WhatsApp, after 3-4 days, emails, like meet your colleagues, maybe you invite them to open Teams or Google Meet Hangouts with future colleagues. You can be as creative as you want to in this nurturing. At the same time, you will see in your feed on the phone, something popping up on TikTok, something on YouTube. You will get this amazing experience that you can't exactly. So then also 3 months, 6 months.
Sometimes, Victor, you'll find a candidate that thinks, "Oh, I'm not allowed to swear. I nearly swore then, Darren. Apologies." Oh, snap! They look cool, but my bonus is due in a month. I need to get paid. I don't want to forget about these guys. I want to be in the system. It's like, again, like we made it about e-commerce, right? It's like, I don't know why I sign up to Nike's newsletter. I'm not going to buy every pair of trainers they send me, but I'm damn close to doing it every time. So I'm sure if you're sending me software engineering jobs every time, and maybe some other super interesting stuff, like you said, like networking events that at the offices where you can come and have a look round, and like, why not? Like, you're missing so many people because you're only hitting that surface layer of I'm looking right now. I'm a brand advocate. That's one of the things I teach. I cut, like when we're bringing in startup clients, is like, if someone can find you, if they know who you are, is they're all like, no, you've got nothing at the minute. There's no brand equity at all for you. We've got to go from zero to making hires. And which is why we say to them, like, start writing about what it's like to work there. Because it's free. You don't have to pay for it. And of course you can.
How is it like to work there? That's the biggest obstacle for candidates. They have not enough information.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and if you want to do it modern, right, you push in some conversational AI into that flow as well, right? So you can push in like you interview Scott the AI,
Yeah.
right? A couple of like episodes
Yeah.
back.
Scary.
Plug that one in,
Super easy.
or plug something else into the system. Like almost all ATS system will have some kind of conversational AI, like Paradox, is a
But
good
yeah.
example, right? So like plug them in and like get them to convince the candidates over time. Doesn't need to be a pre-written email
Totally.
or pre-written WhatsApp,
Totally.
right? So
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
all of that.
Mm.
But
I
the
did.
question is like, where do we find them? Like Adway solves the puzzle of where to find them from the beginning. So instead of sourcing actively, like you can only source that many people that you have phone numbers to, right? Or you find them on GitHub or Stack Overflow or LinkedIn or whatever source there is, or you ask the government to give you a phone number list of all the nurses in that city or whatever, like your tactic is. But social media actually have everyone online. And they also have the pattern. They know exactly who have an education as a nurse. They know what kind of content they engage in. We know all of this already. So you can leverage social media in such a good way, but they are hard candidates to convince. And that's something the industry also need to have and respect. Like it will take some time. So it will take a couple of months. You need to nurture them. You need to think it through a little bit. But usually bigger organizations has done it. And what's really successful for us is that if you have like an media agency or if you have an employer branding agency or someone helping setting up the Adway system, you can leverage so much from it. So having someone in the middle trying to guide the end customer, because usually you maybe have personas and EVP, but you don't know how to distribute it to
or
market.
use them effectively.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
What is? I'm sorry, Darren. I know I could see you were itching there, but I thought a really good question was like on customer, like who is Adway's ICP?
Yeah, so we have so besides we have a couple. So we have the RPOs and media companies, and then you have employer branding agencies. So that's one is customers and partners at the same time. Then we have two big customer group, I would say, beside that one. So we have the enterprises. So customers that we have like Ernst & Young and PwC, Grant Thornton, that kind of businesses.
And they
BCG.
typically have like an employer branding team already. These guys, do they? Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they usually have local teams as well.
Wow.
So like 2 weeks back, I was down in BCG's office in Milan, right? The best office in the entire Italy, I guess. Terrace and all of that. So they have a team. Then they could utilize Adway, and then another team is sitting in France and then UK, etc. So usually they have the teams.
And you're just going to go to them all, right?
Yeah, as long as it's a warm location, it's a nice city, we'll go to them. That's our demand. And so that's the enterprises. So I would say if you recruit less than 100, 200 positions a year, Adway is probably going to be too expensive.
That was my question I was itching about. Just not about in terms of your cost, but what's the budget that you would say starting budget for companies if they're looking to start this journey? What kind of what would you?
I would say they probably need to be able to spend at least 50K on a yearly basis. But then that's very much aligned to how many positions you have, right? No, but if you go below 50K, Adway is probably not the customer or the vendor for that customer. So
they're kind of doing it yourself and coming up with the other ways before they hit the 50K. Yeah. No, that makes complete sense.
Yeah, but you can start like it's a consumption based model, right? So the more ads you want to promote, the more you pay. So you can have a really low amount of spend behind a job ad as well. So, and depending on the country, like in some countries, you don't need to spend that much. In India, as an example, you don't need to spend that much. The UK, you need to spend a lot. In Germany or in the US is extremely expensive right now. I don't know why, but it's very expensive on social media to getting the conversions back. So you need to spend a little bit more in the US. But that's the enterprises. Then another really big customer group, which is, I think, is almost the majority now, or very close to the majority of our customers, the big recruitment houses. So
Right.
Power, Adecco, that kind of houses.
Strange that it seems to be everyone that's trying to tap into more, isn't it, in the market, not those that just really want to see quality, right? It's like you're going, because you've got, of course they've got the spend, I guess that's or they've got the expertise to know how to spend more effectively and get better results. I guess maybe that might be a good question for you, Sara, right? It's like, what are you seeing from a kind of, you said CMO, right?
Yeah.
Like cost per click or cost, I don't know if you do like cost per acquisition for the recruiting part, versus like, I mean, not a lot of people know an in-mail is £3. I've met people before. It's like, oh, don't worry, I sent 1,000 in-mails for that, and I'm like, you have no idea what you just spent, do you? Like, or the damage that you're causing. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know, like, how is it comparing to us idiots who are doing the same stuff? Nearly did it again. Same stuff we've always done. To taking that leap the first time. What do you see?
I think first of all, I don't think a lot of people know that obviously social media is where the candidates are. Like 5 billion people are using social media several hours per day. Like they spend a lot of their lives on social media, but social media in particular is not designed for recruitment. It's designed for shoppers and consumers. So we make social media into a recruitment engine by using behavioral targeting and making sure that then cost per ad or per click or whatever acquisition is then matched to how many hires you need to do. So for instance, really advanced roles like eye surgeons or whatever, like the harder they are, the better for Adway, and then the volumes. So the more volumes we have in roles and in campaigns and placements, the more data we get, right? So the cost is going to be like ridiculously low because we have so much data to operate with, and we're building talent pools at the same time, we're marketing at the same time, and we basically know these people.
Because that overtime's reducing the cost anyway, isn't it? Because you're not having to then go back cold every time.
By the day.
Well,
yeah, and I think it's also important to understand that we could leverage all the existing traffic that the customer already are generating.
Yeah.
So if you have a function where you have like a recruiter sending emails or texting or like doing actively like hard sourcing, right? You're probably not getting everyone's attention. You're probably maybe getting 20% attention or 30%, or if you're really
generous.
45. Yeah. So then we can help leverage the rest, right?
Yeah. I still speak to recruiters that don't send a connection note before an in-mail. So it's, for me, it's like, I find that fascinating because an in-mail's free after a connection, right? I'm like, dude, do you not know that? Like, no.
But something that I could share with you, which is something interesting in the agency space right now. So Indeed is obviously blocking the organic feed now. So you need now, I think it's rolling out as we speak, but you need to pay for every single job position if you're a recruitment house now on Indeed, at least in certain markets. Maybe it's not global yet, but the problem is that it's going to be ridiculous expensive for the recruitment houses to advertise on Indeed now overnight. So that's one problem. The other problem is that only 20% of the candidates that convert are new to the recruitment houses.
Okay.
So 80% of the traffic they are getting, they already have in the CV database. So even if you're getting a really low cost per application, you're not getting a low unique cost per application.
Or building a unique talent pool that you probably haven't already
run. Diverse talent pool for that matter.
100%.
It's an echo chamber.
But D&I is out from the discussions now, right? we debate all the time. Like 2 years ago, D&I was everywhere, right?
You know what? We could do a whole show on this. I think because I definitely have noticed the noise of it going down. I'm really disappointed in that.
Yeah, every agenda.
And it was definitely the biggest movement I've ever seen in our space. I think to something in particular, but I've definitely noticed harming of that language, which is disappointing to say the least.
I think seen people with that position as well. They left their jobs you don't see those jobs advertised anymore. Or so.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's sad. I think sad for the world. I think, like, more importantly, which is unfortunately not what all CEOs care about, right?
Yeah. Well, what's your take on social media in general then? Like, how do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a huge opportunity. There's a massive opportunity. I'm not a huge user, but when I am into something, I'm sucked in. A big LinkedIn user, of course, just outside of like work. Sorry, as in like outside of just sending emails.
So new team.
I'm just agree.
You need to cut that out from the podcast.
I'm free emails.
I'm just basically, that's how I make friends. You know, I the only platform
I sourced my wife, Chris, on LinkedIn. So
Nice.
I'm getting married in the summer.
There you
Nice.
go. Top of funnel. Work your top of funnel on LinkedIn. So for me, like, I'm not a big picture poster, so like, but I consume a lot on a lot of places.
Right. Everyone's a user.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, so like I'm a hidden user, right? I assume there's less data about me, of course, but they know what I do.
Yeah.
You spend the time.
Yeah, Sarah has the data on you.
So, but I do totally and utterly agree. I mean, I started a job board myself during COVID, and I was like, I thought Instagram was going to be the hidden, because I don't see any feed or anything coming in my feed at all. Yeah. And when I started researching, it's like everything was just getting really static and a bit like, just like a picture of a forest and software engineered, 80 grand.
Right.
And I was like,
I've seen
that
a lot
sucks.
of softwares in
that sucks. Yeah. There's nothing in this. So I started to play around with it a little bit. So I'm with you. That's why I think I know a little bit about the space, even though it's not my world. I'm certainly fascinated for our own business. And the power of how to utilize more of its power, because I think you're right. And also LinkedIn's prices have gone up again. I mean, I hope they're not watching this. We're not bashing you. We love you. We need you. Please don't go anywhere. But yeah, the prices are going up, which means the cost per email is going to go up, which means the cost of doing business is going to go up, and the profit margins aren't going up for anyone in my space at the moment. And I do feel like there's a little bit of a we don't need you guys kind of vibe going on with, particularly with LinkedIn at the minute, which I hope is not the case. Apologies.
I think to sum it up, like, again, a lot of people don't know the difference with organic engagement or organic posting versus like sponsored. So what we usually say is you're not in a war for talent, you're in a war for attention. And how you get that attention is not usually through spamming with emails or just like posting a link in your LinkedIn post, right? That's a huge difference.
It's boring as well, let's be honest, because everyone does it. So when you're trying to get attention,
I mean, we were saying this on the intro that it's really hard to reach on LinkedIn, because every other channel, I think it was I don't know if you watched Alex Hormozy, he was talking about his growth that he's got on all the channels, Facebook, Instagram, and he's saying LinkedIn is his hardest one that he's had to grow because it doesn't show. It's like you can only have so many, 100 something elite, connection requests a day, a week, and then just trying to get people, them seeing other content as well. It's really difficult. And there's people who I follow who I don't see in my feed appearing for weeks, but they're definitely posting. So it's really tough. So it's the fact that you can actually leverage and sponsor and post out to people and be targeted as well. We're missing it. I think within the recruitment industry, we're missing a trick by doing this more.
Wow, absolutely.
And you guys are definitely nailing this. I think super impressed. We've got a demo, of course. So if anybody's listening, before this becomes a personal chat between us four, there are going to be other people hopefully listening to this, and of course there will be a demo of some of the stuff. We need to get that live for you as well if it hasn't gone already, Darren.
It will be going live. This will be the day before. Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm excited to see more.
See us on Thursday.
Definitely see you guys on Thursday, which will be 2 weeks ago. So if you're listening to this, you missed it.
Had a great time.
Liz, you missed it. We had a great time. We're all very tired, but it was good fun. You guys run that event regularly, right? I've seen it before.
Yes, we call it Spill the TA because the community figured that was a cool name. So it's afterworks, it's networking, it's coming together, quality time with the talent industry. It's
nice.
We have currently 400 signups. So
amazing.
There will be one in May. Yeah.
Woo! I can't wait. I mean, I love those events as well. They're good fun.
It's going to be expensive for our credit cards.
Well, you know,
Happily.
particularly if I'm there. Particularly if I'm there, it's going to be expensive with a credit card.
We're at
running,
the top of the. Yeah.
Unfortunately, because I know we could have, we could have definitely done this for another hour, I'm sure, but you guys would probably get bored of us. So we're going to go to our last couple of questions.
Yeah. So interested to hear about what other sort of TA tech tools that you notice or you're a big fan of the industry.
Yeah.
How much time do we have?
Say 3 maximum.
Yeah.
Okay, 3. Oh, okay. You go.
Or 1.
Okay. No, I will go with the Ref app.
Oh.
Reference app. So it's another Swedish company. So maybe I'm a little bit biased on this one, but I think they've sold something that all recruiters really hate doing, like the reference call and automating it, and actually extracting for once a good feedback and good conversations back, and then just like thumbs up and you check something off our checklist. So I think Ref app and the team has done it great. Scalability as well. So we have joint customers like Manpower as an example, like they do it globally with them. I think they are nailing it.
Yeah, they're great. I need to pick one. I'm gonna pick Alva Labs for assessment.
Yes.
Really, you know, ahead of the game. Also Swedish TA Scale Up and Startup. Great people, great product. Yeah, we just
great leadership team.
Great leadership team
as well.
Yeah.
So I will. Okay, I will pick a peer in our market. So I think Vonk is doing it well on the market as well. So we also work with some joint customers. We have a little bit of overlap on our system, but I think they are doing it really well. With the hiring.
Very gracious of you. Very gracious of you. Most of our guests go, I'm not going to say anyone in the same space as me or even touching me.
Together we innovate the space. We love our peers. Our competitors. Like we constantly challenge yesterday. Constantly.
Does the award to the perfect guest go to these two, Darren? You've been wonderful.
And the best backdrop as well, 100%. You won that award. Yeah.
Oh wow. Look at that.
Thanks. Sara got like she said, like when you were gonna move, I have 2 demands. Like I want to design the studio. They're gonna have a big studio with a lot of technical stuff inside it. Like okay, but I'm also gonna have a kitchen stage with like a big screen behind me and a big stage I can go up on doing stuff. So I have that one. Yeah. My demand was to have a beer tap, so we have that.
Wait, this is this place. This is this space.
Yeah, I think
because this is a purpose built.
Yeah. It's designed purposely for this.
Wow.
You need to come and watch the stage though, because it's
the
stage is beautiful.
We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to find an excuse, Darren, for you to fly. I don't currently need one. The last question we always pose is what's next for Adway. So we've got like where we're at now. What mountains can you share with us that you're going to climb next that's going to change the game? Or none, which is also okay because you've already climbed a couple of big ones.
So depends on the angle now, but we are working with I would say the majority of the top 10 recruitment houses now. We're still missing a couple. We hopefully will get them as well. But they will change. They will change the way for Adway to be able to scale because they have so many positions. Like we're talking. The top 5, they have more than 1 million job vacancies on a yearly basis, maybe up to 2-3 million. And then if you're going to scale it out to 10 social media placements, that's like 20-30 million ads that need to be produced per customer, right? We're talking, per brand. And then we're talking like hundreds, millions of ads that are going to be produced. So that's going to be the game changer for us, even though we're focusing on enterprise and other stuff as well. The recruitment houses are the really big ones that need an automation. They need AI. They need to be in the forefront because they need to
reach a massive pool.
Exactly. So that's going to be the game changer for us. Or as we speak, we're launching in 15 more countries or something simultaneously. So we're just waiting for some sign up from one.
Is there anywhere you don't? Is there any major market that you're not in at the moment?
China.
Well, this is China. Okay.
Yeah.
That was easy question. Easy. That was quick.
we have a plan for it, but it's hard to do programmatic social media because it's so reliant on influencers, and the pricing is like up and down and up and down. It's like no regularity around it.
And I like to call us now a TAS, because there's ATSs, right? And I think we're a TAS, which is a talent attraction suite or system, still in debate. Yeah. So now we're moving into becoming a TAS, because that's how complex talent attractions has become today. It's a huge industry and it's a huge business, and we need to make sure everyone's on top of it. So we're
makes
TAS,
sense.
TAAS.
TAS, yeah, not ATS.
So it's a TAS.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah, TAS. Nice. Like it. Love it. Well, it's been absolutely wonderful to have you guys on the show. We're definitely going to have to do it again. Maybe what we can do next time is pick some really narrow thing that you guys, so we can get deep into. You cover so much. Yeah. We can cover so much. And also, if you've got, like, always make sure if you've got product updates, I'm sure our listeners are going to want to know what's going on. So make sure you share them with us, and we'll host them either on LinkedIn or on the YouTube channel. And if you've got any, like, and again, micro things at launch, always be ready. That's for our guests to know that we want to achieve. Adway takeover of the TA Tech Unboxed.
Painted purple. Yeah,
painted purple. So that again brings us to the end of this week's show. How do people get in touch with you? How do people get in touch with you if they want a demo or chat?
People on LinkedIn, right? You can always find us. We're blasting the news.
You can find Sara on LinkedIn. If you can't find Sara on LinkedIn, you probably don't have LinkedIn.
No, exactly. Very true.
Are you still giving out purple bottles of champagne?
Yes, of course.
Nice.
That's my magic trick.
Nice.
That's where we're coming
on. Is that what we're drinking? Wonderful.
Among others, beverages.
Nice. I remember watching a video of in fact, actually my business partner we were given an award at IHR. You guys are sponsoring RPO of the year.
Congrats, man.
And we didn't win, actually. We came second, but we lost to the guys that did Man United, so you know, with our silly little startup that no one cares about. But anyway,
I appreciate you guys in the market. Like, TA Tech Unboxing is just what we need. We love to be supporting. Like, again, we're releasing a lot of reports, we're releasing a lot of insights. If you need anything around talent attraction of like real data and not just like echoing what's out there, we could give you. We would love to support the community, because this is again what's helping us innovate.
I must say that I also love the podcast, and that you're giving some time as well. To be a little bit more detailed in the product.
Today.
Everything.
Not today, guys. I mean, we haven't done this before, but like we meant to have an episode where we tell people why we bothered to do this in the first place. It's because we both believe that TA people buy from the people behind the tools. If we fall in love with your POV, we are almost convinced that you're going to solve our problems, because it's a people-led, world for us. And who's in the hot seats is important to us. So, and often there's not much going on for you guys. So first of all, keep building, keep changing things, keep breaking bridges, because we're enjoying it. That brings us to the end of this show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's been absolutely wonderful. Pleasure. You'll be back on soon. And that's the end of the show, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Keep making waves.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Stop it.